This is a $20 bill, and this is Brendan, and that is the Goodwill bins. And together we're going to walk into the Goodwill outlet and see just how many items we can find to flip on eBay for 20 bucks or less. Let's go shopping. All right, issue number one that this store is currently having, this location, is they have a major employee shortage. And so rotation, the days are very sporadic. You never know if rotations are going to be coming out with full force, or on a day like today where they have no help and the rotations are coming out very slow. I think employee morale is very low just based on the people that I've spoken to. So I'm going to hit the shoes, and if you have been following me for any length of time, you can see the shoes are in a different location. Everything is kind of jumbled around here, and I've got a couple of singles in my hand, a Giro, I've got a Birkenstock in my hand. And then I find this Burberry flip-flop. Unfortunately for me, I couldn't find the other one. It is an authentic flip-flop, and it's a super bummer because I'm going to continue looking for it, but I don't find the second one. So here's the Giro. This is Petra VR. They are a woman's size 9. Those were in fantastic condition. Price-wise, it's going to have to be about $20. They're not that great of a seller. And then there is the other Birkenstock. Now I think those are Arizonas. They were like black. They were not oiled leather, but they were leather. The Birkenstocks, I've been able to identify the size. They're currently in the wash, so we'll take a look and see what they look like when they come out of the wash. But they look like they had some heel drag, but aside from that, and aside from maybe one or two other condition issues, those are wearable sandals, and a lot of people like them in well-worn condition. So I'm going to pick them up. I think based on where we're at right now in the video, we're going to price them at $20. That may or may not change. It may go up, it may go down based on the condition once they come out of the wash. So we'll take a look at that towards the end of the video. But if we're going to have a very slow rotation moving day, we're going to be picking through a lot of the quote-unquote picked over bins and just try to make lemonade out of lemons here. And I always say, anytime I can find 1, 2, maybe 3 pairs of sellable shoes right when I walked in from last night's goodies, that I'm in pretty good shape. So got a couple of pairs I like, and then we have some new clothing bins coming out. So this is the first rotation of the day. I actually have this entire blue bin to myself here for a couple of seconds. So we're going to dig through this, see if I can find anything exciting. But issue number 2 in this store is some of their really strong employees, the ones that do a really fantastic job of policing the floor, making sure everybody's kind of just staying in line, keeping the drama at a minimum. They're leaving for greener pastures. They're going to get other jobs. And I think that's a reflection of management as a whole. You either pay your employees a fair wage or make the location fun to work in, and it doesn't sound like that's happening in the store. So we're going through a little bit of a flux here. Cool pair of shorts here. I couldn't really see a tag or a brand on them, so I passed on them. We're moving into winter season, and if it takes me a long time to identify, I'm going to pass on those. I'm going to take these Old Navy utility pants home, though. They're brand new with tags. They're mid-rise, soft twill. I think I can probably get $15 for those pants. The MSRP was $39.99. I actually saw them advertised in one of Pop Sugar's articles, and so I feel like they'll be recognizable. The fact that they are brand new with tags. eBay is a marketplace where 80% of all of the items sold on their marketplace is in brand new condition. They're really trying to compete with Amazon from that perspective. So 15 bucks on those. Then I went back to the shoes and found an awesome pair of boots. So these are North Face. I think they were Addy. I'll put the comps on the screen. I don't remember exactly. The current comparables for that boot right now don't look really good price-wise, but if you go back into Terapeak, you go back 365 days, there was a pair for that exact size, which was a size 9 in black, that sold for $35, and so that's exactly what I'm going to list those for. They don't necessarily need to be washed, but I will wipe down the midsoles, make them presentable, go inside to make sure that there's no issues with the footbed, the insoles, and then I'm going to list those for $35. And when I say I'm going to list them, It's possible that I will list them in my eBay store, but you never know. Any one of these items or all of them could end up in a wholesale lot for those of you that need good inventory and you have trouble getting it. So boloplanet.com, that's the place to go for that. Any one of these items could end up in there. So passed up on that little makeup bag. This could be a bolo if it was in better condition. The brand is Osprey. It is a Momentum 34 bag. One of these just sold for $70 free shipping within the last 90 days. That one had too many condition issues for me to take the plunge, so to speak. And it's kind of hard when you're looking here because a lot of these items, they look like they're in better condition than they are. But most of the time, if you see something that looks like a bolo that I've passed on, I've probably already had my hands on it and it's just not in a condition that is acceptable to sell. The Birkenstocks does a different story. This is what we spoke about before. I thought that was a Crybaby backpack, which would have been Melanie Martinez branded item. I think it said Cool Baby instead, so I passed on that. It was kind of weird looking, but it would have been cool if it was a Melanie Martinez piece because that definitely would have sold. I think her Crybaby brand still does well to this day. I like these Simply Southern shirts. This is a really nice looking shirt. Unfortunately, I think it's got some paint or maybe like a bleach stain on the bottom there. And so it's misplaced. I think somebody probably had it in their cart and then just like tossed it once they noticed that there was some damage there to the shirt. So I have success with Simply Southern brand. It's, $15 to $25, very bread and butter, but the shirts do sell, the short sleeves and the long sleeves here. This was a cool Joe Weider shape hat. I looked and went back into Terapeak and there were just no comparable solds to go on. So I'm going to pass up on that one, but I do find a pretty cool hat coming up right here. So this hat right here is a North Face hat. It's home is where your dome is. And if you go 90 days back, you won't see any solds for this hat. But if you go into Terapeak, and I encourage you to use Terapeak to get a full 365 days worth of comparable sales data to go on, this exact style hat has sold, I think once for $12, once for $20, and then there was one for $25. So knowing that there was a $25 sale for that exact style hat in pretty similar condition, I'm going to list mine for $25. And you have to chip away at it when you've got a day like today where the rotations were very slow, but they did, eventually start to push them out, even if they were much slower than days past or in weeks past, because again, the store is just it's going through one of those times where you can't get anybody on the floor to do the work. So new rotation coming out here. This is the hats, the bags, the belts, and every now and then there'll be some other things thrown in. Maybe you'll find a pair of shoes mixed in here, but generally speaking, just hats like this one here. This is a youth Five Nights at Freddy's hat. Cool thing about that hat, it was just it got like reflective ink on it, and so it's probably a $10 hat. No, I don't do a ton of youth, but what I'm going on right now is the popularity of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. It's still extremely popular, sells very, very well, so I'm going to sell that hat for $10. And I'm also going to take this Kelty fanny pack. So this is kind of cool. It's vintage. It's got a nice colorway to it. And that style for Kelty on those fanny packs, I see a few of them selling for around $30 or so. So I'll list mine. I think I'll probably list mine at $25. I might push it to $30, but it does need to be cleaned up just a little bit. I'm kind of afraid to put it in the wash, so I'm just going to have to do like an interior wipe down on that. But Kelty backpacks, the vintage ones, very good bolo if you're willing to ship larger items, and that pack I know is going to appeal to somebody who absolutely loves that brand and isn't afraid of the colorway. So kind of like that, pick that up there. Very light, easy to do when you're buying by the pound at the Goodwill bins. And we'll keep digging here and see if there's anything else that comes up here. I'm going to take this home too. This is a Tim Hortons Justin Bieber collaboration, Tim Biebs. It is a corduroy fanny pack. Now, most of this collaboration is found in Canada. So I think Tim Hortons is a Canadian brand, and I know for a fact that Justin Bieber is Canadian. So you'll see a lot of those turn up in Canada. I'm going to be very, very aggressive with mine and list mine at $20 here in the States here, because there just aren't a lot of them on the market here in the US. And so I gotta believe that there's somebody that will take that thing for $20. I mean, they sell brand new for, you know, a ton of money, although it does come with some other extras. This is just the fanny pack. I think there's like maybe a hat that comes with it. I don't remember exactly, but an interesting collaboration that I think went well for Tim Hortons. So we'll see. 20 bucks on that. Nice brown corduroy in very good condition, not brand new, but certainly clean enough. Next thing here, this is another very good seller. So it's a mini backpack from the North Face. It's called the Sprout, and I have a really nice kind of turquoise, maybe teal colorway. That bag is also in the wash, so we're gonna take a look at how that comes out towards the end of the video as well. But those Sprout backpacks, they're kind of, you know, for toddlers or young children. $25 for that. I might push it to 30, again, based on a couple of things. How well does it come out when it's being cleaned in the wash? And then how unique of a colorway do I think I have? So when I'm looking back, at least the last 90 days, I don't see any solds for that exact color, but I think it's like 20 currently listed to around 30 to 35 that have sold in the last 90 days. So a very big seller. Condition, you know, can be cleaned. Structurally excellent though, no rips, no tears, not that I can see. So we're gonna bring that bad boy home, get it washed up. We'll take a look at it at the end. Next rotation coming out here is clothing, and we'll get digging here. As you can see in Columbus, we got a pretty great group of customers that kind of come in and out, a lot of regulars that we see on a daily basis, lots of sharing deals where we can, good people here. It's a good trip. If you're a couple of hours away, I still suggest you come up and take the trip, because this is a really great example, this video here, where a lot of your bread and butter items will add up, and you know it starts to make a difference. So we will total everything up at the end here and see just what my listed value is going to be. I'll tell you exactly what I spent, but definitely take the trip. Don't be afraid to say hello if you see me in the stores. I'm pretty like intense when I'm in the office, so to speak, but always happy to say hello if you happen to recognize me. Okay, problem number 3 that I see happening in this store is if it's going to be sporadic and they're not going to be getting things out, the customer base is going to dwindle, right? And so from a numbers perspective, you're not going to be selling that much. And then anytime that happens, there's always that fear that they're going to raise the prices again before the new year comes up. They usually always raise them in January, and I just know $1.99, $2.09, $2.19 is just around the corner when they start to realize that the money's not coming in. So it's pretty important to get the staff full, make sure that you got a good customer base continuously coming in, because it's been really slow on our side the past couple of weeks. So Metallica shirt, that was just very basic, no value here, but I grabbed this Harley hat. Now this is a newsboy hat, and the list to sell ratio on these hats is phenomenal. That is a very fast seller. 160 or so currently listed, 180 have sold in the last 90 days. Now I don't have a leather one in my hand. I think it's just probably regular cotton, but I see an exact sold comp right in the middle of October for $25. So I'm going to grab that, and as you can see, these are the clothing bins, right? So every now and then you'll get something just totally mixed in, and both of those bins are they're kind of brand new, just coming out. And so grabbed a hat where the hats aren't normally, and got lucky. So $25 for that, and I know it will sell relatively quickly. I think it was a men's size large, and we will see it closer towards the end of the video. I will show you everything sort of up close in detail. We'll map it all out and total everything up. That was a Pendleton piece, but I passed on it. I just moving quick, didn't like it. Don't want the vintage looking Reebok track pants. I have an LL Bean coat in my hand that would have been awesome, but it had just too much damage towards the bottom. Not necessarily damage, but it was like stained pretty heavily at the bottom pockets. I just didn't look the way that it looked after I took a second glance, but that would have been probably a $50 to $60 jacket. And you know what? Maybe there's a market for it, dirtied up like that, but I don't want to be the one to deal with that. So I'm going to leave it behind. Maybe somebody else grabbed it. Some Eddie Bauer utility pants here. I have enough bread and butter right now in my cart, so I'm not going to grab much more of it, although I think those probably would have sold, but we have enough $15 bills, we have enough $20 bills. I'd like, to find at least one more home run here before I leave, so that's what we're going to keep looking for, and hopefully it turns out pretty quick. Dig through the rest of the clothes here. Not much to speak of. So much Old Navy, so much Gap. You guys have heard me say it before. All right, so next rotation here is some hard goods. Now, I've got my eye on two things here just before they let us go. So the first thing that I grab is this Logitech webcam, and then the second thing that I grabbed really quickly was some perfume. Inside the Logitech box was a Glade plugin, so that went right back into the bins, but the perfume was brand new in the box. I think it's Laura Mercier, and it was a vanilla scented perfume. The comparable solds for that were excellent, so I'm going to, based on comps, list what I found for $70, and just like that, like basically, I don't want to say it saved the trip, but usually you come away with one or two big hitters, and I'm pretty satisfied, and there it was. It just so happened to come towards the end of my sourcing journey, but thank goodness. So that was a big hitter. Again, no deal on the Logitech camera. That was not a Logitech camera. And the last thing that I end up grabbing here on camera is a really nice Toby Mac shirt. I think it was a men's size large. Toby Mac is a Christian music artist, and so I'm pretty confident that based on the size, based on its condition, I can get $20 for it. A lot of his shirts selling between the $15 and $25 range pre-owned, but still a very big market for him and that genre of music. So 20 bucks on that. These BKEs had a big hole in the back towards the side of the pocket, so I had to leave those behind, but that would have been a good bolo as well if they were clean, which it looked like they were, but that big hole, had to pass on those. But we'll go with the Toby Mac t-shirt there, and I am about done. I'm just gonna check the last little bit of clothing here on the end, and that is it. So we'll head home, we'll total everything up and see how this all went. I kind of like, the more I'm looking at these in better light, I like the colorway. I mean, these are pretty nice. They don't look like they're too terribly worn, so they're nice. Here's the Kelty bag up close. I haven't wiped it out yet. Yeah, let me get this open. So not too bad. It's branding on the exterior there. Here's the vanilla perfume. Is it Laura Mercier? Not exactly sure how you pronounce all of this, but I mean, it is brand new. 100% full, so that's a bonus here. Here's the North Face Addies. The thing I like about this is the branding still looks pretty good, so it's a little bit faded here, but you look at the other side, it's pretty clear there. I've wiped the midsoles, so the midsoles look pretty clean. I still have to work on the soles. The branding in the front still looks pretty good. These are in really, really nice condition, so that was a good pickup there. Like I said, $35. Here's the Birkenstocks. Now, did I throw leather in the washer? The answer is yes. I've done it before. So will these sell in this condition? I believe the answer is yes. I've done it before. So you can see like it's looking like it's starting to come away just a little bit right there. And then on the insides here, there's a little bit of separation. Normally, I wouldn't sell a shoe that like had that many issues, but because I know that Birkenstock sells in this condition, I've done it before, I'm gonna list them again, where you see like sold comparables in the 30, 40, maybe even $50 range pre-owned. These are gonna go for 20, and the bottoms don't look too bad other than the heel drag. Here's the North Face Sprout. This has already come out of the wash. It's a beautiful color. I'm gonna try to work on this little smudge right here, but no rips, like I said, no tears. A really pretty colorway with the teal and the purple, and the interior is extremely clean. It's got the young girl who had this before. It's got her name written in on it, but again, that's not going to prevent anybody from buying it. Straps in the back, excellent condition, beautiful piece. And then Toby Mac, you saw that shirt here. It's the Twill utility pants from Old Navy, brand new right there. The Bieber corduroy fanny pack here. Here's the newsboy hat. A little bit of a closer look there. Harley, nice and clean, totally authentic, and I think this was, yes, a size large. And then here's the North Face hat a little bit closer, a little bit of markings right there, but I still think this sells for $25. Got some North Face branding on the back. All in all, I'm pretty satisfied with all these pieces. All right, it's at 8.1 pounds. There's the perfume, North Face hat, Five Nights at Freddy's hat, forgot to show you that earlier. Tim Biebs, Harley, Kelty, North Face. There's the boots, Birkenstocks, Gyro, Toby Mac, twill pants. So at 8.1 pounds, that comes out to about $15.25. I'm well under the $20 budget. And not only did I only spend just over $15 this trip, my total listed value, if everything sells for my full asking price, comes to $310. That was a pretty good trip to the bins, even staying under my allotted budget of $20. Thanks so much for tuning in. Brendan here, Dad Planet, the one-man show. Hit that like button if you like what you saw or you learned something today, and then always consider becoming a member of the Dad Planet family by subscribing and hitting the bell notification icon so that you know every single time I upload a video to YouTube. That's it. That's all I got for you. Thank you again. We'll see you in the next video.